Boker Tov, Bruchim Habayim. We are continuing on Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim Hilchot Shabbat. We are starting Siman Resh Samech Gimal, the Halachot of Hadlakat Nerot, on Daf Lamed Hey Amud Aleph of the regular prints of Mishna Berura. Maran writes, Yeh Zahir La'asod Ner Yafeh. You should be careful to have a beautiful candle for Shabbat. This is straight off the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat Daf Chaf Gimal. The Gemara there says amazing things about a person that is careful with Nerot Shabbat. Hazahir bener havyan lebanim talmidei chachamim. A person that is careful in Nerot Shabbat, and Nerot Chanukah is included, he will merit to have tremendous kids. Maran Chidar asks. Maran Chidar writes, I know a lot, in 2 or 3 places that I know, the Chidar asks this, says, I know a lot of people that they light Nerot Shabbat and Nerot Chanukah. I don't see their kids being talmidei chachamim. So what happened? The Gemara went wrong. He says, Zahir bener does not mean you're lighting candles. It means you're doing zihirut with tremendous care, details. You do it on time. Like we have been discussing this whole thing of Sefer Yereim and others, to do it half an hour before, 10 minutes extra, not to be rushed, to be dressed already with Big Shabbat for it. And what type of candelabra you have? Do you clean it? Is it nice? Is it clean? What type of oil you use? Is it the better one? Is it the cheaper one? Right? And how much kavanah, how much excitement you have for bringing Shabbat in? Are you like jumping from joy? Are you excited? Or are you like, achanvei, and you're checking your boxes of obligations and restrictions? Oh, here we go again, right? Ner Shabbat. That's all the difference. So when he says, Zahir la'asod ner yafeh, make a beautiful candle. It's not just the candle that should be beautiful. The way you do it should be beautiful. The oil should be beautiful. You should be beautiful. And your mindset, most importantly, should be beautiful. V'yesh mechaverin la'asod shtei ptilot. There are those, mikaratin, 1 candle is enough. Ner Shabbat, right? But there are those who are Zahir, based on a story in the Gemara. They're in the Lamed Gimel, later on, the story of Rabbi Shlomo Yisraeli, that they do 2 ptilot. One for Shamor, one for Zachor. Because, again, these 2 in the Aseret Divrot by Pashat Yitro versus Pashat Vayet Hanan, Zachor Yom HaShabbat HaKadosho, Shamor Yom HaShabbat HaKadosho, they were both said in the same breath, heard together, simultaneously, miraculously, like that. So says the Shulchan Aruch, Shtei Ptilot, Echad Keneged Zachor, Echad Keneged Shamor. Fine. So the people were Zahir to do it in that way. Now, there are others who say it's not Zachor or Shamor, it's Keneged Ish ve'isha. Right? It's a man in the house, a woman in the house, and Ner and Ner, if you have the this way, if you have Ner and Ner, the gematria would be the same gematria of the limbs of a man and woman combined, right? You have Ramah Evarim for a man, Ranav Evarim, 4 extras for a woman. So if you add them both together, would be the same amount of 500, right? Which would be 2 times Ner, right? So that's they're beautiful things that Kaf HaChaim over here happens to be the one that says it, and additional reason for why 2 nerot. You could do more, do 3, 4. There are people who do more than 1. Now the Kaf HaChaim says there are those who do 7. Connected the 7 days of the week, or 7 sfirot, or Kabbalistic, or Al Pi Pshat. There are those who also do 10 for the 10 commandments. There are different minhagim, how many to do. Now, the Mamar Mordechai says, Lachatchila, a person should not add to the 2. Right? Should not, because you lose this kavanah of zachor v'shamor. You want to keep it, to what it should be. Now there are those also who add a candle by every soul that's born in the house. So if they have 7 children, they do 7, 8, 9, 9. It's like a different minhagim. But again, Mordechai says keep it to the 2, and that's the best way, right? Now the reason that people do more is because ba'urim kabedu Hashem. Light is considered kavod. When you have a lot of light, it's geschmack, it's mechubad, it's proper, it's more kavod for Hashem, more kavod for Shabbat. So therefore, it's become the minhag. Nowadays, again, the whole thing becomes questionable because you have the luminates. The Baruch Hashem, we're blessed to have proper lighting. So not only this element doesn't become a big consideration, but actually it becomes a halachic question. Can you even say bracha on your candles when you have so many tens of thousands of lumens in your room, right? So that's something we will discuss as we develop and open up this sugya. Okay, now how about if a woman always did 2, and now she sees that her friend is doing 7 or has this fancy candelabra and she wants to do it? Can she add? Do we say that the minhag was, 2, and she now wants for chibub mitzvah, she wants to do more, and the husband says, no, we're not buying another candelabra, we're not doing extras, right? So Shalom Bayit is going, the whole thing of candle lighting for Shabbat is Shalom Bayit. Now Shalom Bayit is going down the drain based on the discussion. So the woman should not be disagreeing with the husband in that case, halachically speaking, because Mikar Adin, of course, 2 would be sufficient. Now, but if you want to, and the husband is okay with it, right?
Once you commit to more than 5 to 6, do you have to continue that going forward, or you can just say, I'll do 5 for the next month, and then go back to my regular 2?
So that's a good question. They should always say bli neder if they're doing the extras. Not to get into any questions, but again, depending why they did it. Did they think that Kabbalistically you should be doing this, or they knew it's a chumrah? So that could affect the outcome of whether or not it's considered neder in that way. Fine. So it says says the Mishna Berura, he brings the Gemara that we mentioned, Zocheh avur zeh lebanim talmidei chachamim, dechtiv ki ner mitzvah v'torah or, you do the ner mitzvah, you will get Torah, and the light of Torah will emanate to your life, and the ner mitzvah the Shabbat ba'or HaTorah. ולכך ראוי שיתפלל האישה אחר שתגמור ההדלקה והברכה. Here comes the Mishnah Berura, says, therefore take a moment after you light the nerot to daven. After you do the nerot, you should focus. שייתן לה הקדוש ברוך הוא בנים זכרים מאירים בתורה. They should have good children learning Torah, luminaries of Torah in the world. והדלקת נר צריך להיות בכל החדרים שהולך שם בשבת. It's not just in one place. The mitzvah of הדלקת נרות includes to make sure that everywhere that you're going to be walking tonight has light. You don't want to fall and hurt yourself, and then Shalom Bayit is not there. So therefore, it's not just lighting. Imagine to yourself, again, nowadays we are blessed because even if you most houses and apartments, even if you turn off all the lights, there's enough light coming from the street light that you will be enough to go around. Or you have windows, large windows and skylights and so on and so forth, and the moonlight by itself would be sufficient in many cases. But imagine a house without windows and it's dark, or you have rooms that are not lit up, bathrooms and so on and so forth. All of those would be part and parcel of this as well. So So we're going to skip a little bit of the Mishna Berura here because we explained it already outside. The Mishna Berura does mention that there are those in minhag of doing 7 nerot corresponding to the 7 days of the week, or they do asara because of the aseret hadibrot. All those things that we mentioned already, the Mishna Berura also brings. Says the Mishna Berura, you don't have to necessarily be having all of them on the shulchan. You could have 2 of them here on the shulchan and 7 of them there, or 5 of them there. That's all fine. They don't have to necessarily be all at one place. Now, the Ramas is something that we don't have the minhag, and that is, what if you forget to light Nerot Shabbat 1 week, right? You have a knas. You find her every time that you forget to light Nerot Shabbat, you add 1 forever, right? So if you forget this week to light Nerot Shabbat, from now until Mashiach comes, V'ad Bichlal, you will be doing an extra ner every week. That's what the Mas is, right? It's the minhag, the old minhag of the Ashkenazim. כי יכולים להוסיף על דבר המכוון נגד דבר אחר, ובלבד שלא יפחות. Fine. On that, the Mishna Berura writes, ואם הייתה רגילה מתחילה ב3, צריכה להדליק כל ימי 4. If you were doing 4, you do 5 now. If you do 7, you do 8 now. You add to whatever it is that you're doing. And if you forgot a bunch of times, צריכה להוסיף בכל פעם עוד נר אחד. You forget again next week, you add another one, right? So if you go to someone's house and they have no kids but 20 candles, you know they're forgetful people, right? והכל משום כנס, it's all כנס. כדי שתהיה זהירה בחוד שבת. ועל כן, אם נאנסה ולא הדליקה, but if she was honest, she couldn't, right? כגון, שהייתה בבית האסורים, she was in jail. כיוצא בזה, she was didn't have candles, whatever it was. אינה צריכה להוסיף, then there's no there's no inyan to add because it was not up to her, right? Also, if she's anya, she's poor, it's expensive, the oil or whatever, so we don't give her the kenas. And the Sfaradim don't have this minhag altogether. This is not something that we have subscribed to. Maran Chida writes in Shiurei Bracha in Ar Siman Seif Katan Aleph that he says that we have it's better than adding a candle would be giving shemen, giving candles nowadays would be, or shemen back then, to a poor family that can't afford it. That would be much better than doing extra one. But again, nevertheless, as our minhag was not to be lighting with a kenas, we try to be careful as much as possible, but we don't do the kenas. That's basically the minhag of the Sfaradim as far as that's concerned, and we conclude the Seif over here. We'll B'ezrat Hashem pick this up in the days to come. Hazaku Baruch.